are in a series called The Taste of Heaven, and it is a study in Colossians. And today we are looking at Colossians 2, verses 16 through 23. And this is where Paul talks about the rules and the laws that the church leaders were making that were surrounding Christianity. So I thought it would be fun to look up some of the strange and different laws that we have here in the 50 states. Now, some of the laws I'm going to share today have just recently been changed, but most of the laws I'm going to share with you are still on law books today across the country. Now, just because they're on the law books doesn't mean they're usually enforced. So like this one. This one is a Virginia law, and it was just changed in 2022. Wild animals can't be hunted on Sundays, except for raccoons. Under the Virginia Code, hunting, transporting, selling, trapping, or possessing wild animals and birds is unlawful on Sundays, except as permitted. Now, this code was put in about 1950, and it was recently amended in July 2022, but it was amended to say this. It specifies that hunting or killing any wild animal is not permitted within 200 yards of a place of worship on Sundays. But before that recent amendment, it was unlawful to hunt wild animals on Sundays, except for raccoons. Raccoons could previously be hunted up until like 2 a.m. on Sunday mornings. Okay, number 2. This one's crazy. Number 2. You cannot push a live moose out of an airplane in Alaska. Now, in Alaska, this unusual law kept you from pushing a live moose out of the airplane, and it was supposed to prevent potential harm to the moose while it was falling out of the airplane, and also to protect the people who were down below from falling moose. Now, this would be really odd that somebody would push a moose out of an airplane, but it's still a unique aspect of Alaska's law. Okay, number 3, check this one out. Whispering in church is illegal in Delaware. Now, this law, maybe we should reenact it, but this law is meant to maintain the reverence and respect in silence during religious services. And though it might seem a little harsh by today's standard, it does reflect the history of the respect for church gatherings. But let's keep it real here. Enforcing whispering during church service, that means all of you all might get a citation. Okay, all right, this one, number 4. It is illegal to fish for whales on Sunday in Ohio. All right, yeah, this one gets me because it is landlocked except where it's on Lake Michigan. So I'm not really sure about that one. But if you want to go, fishing for whales Monday through Saturday in Ohio, go right ahead. All right, last one. It is illegal to wear a mustache that causes laughter in church in Alabama. Now, in Alabama, this quirky and unusual law makes it illegal because it wears the fake mustaches because it causes laughter. And it was supposed to, again, maintain decorum during religious services by preventing any intentional distractions. And although, again, this one's not really enforced, but is, again, interesting and a part of Alabama's legal history. Now, some of those are pretty crazy, aren't they? But this is where we can agree with Paul. Remember, Paul was talking in these verses about how we become so focused on being a hall monitor and looking out for specific behaviors that the people of Colossae were missing out on the main thing, Jesus Christ. Paul was saying that the leaders and the followers were getting wrapped up in what food to eat, what to touch, what to not touch, that they were losing sight of the main thing. It's not about the food you eat or the clothes you wear. It's about loving the Lord with all of your heart and loving your neighbor as yourself. Now, the leaders at this time, they were getting so caught up in this ceremonial aspect of the law that they were missing out on God, the one where all of those ceremonies were supposed to be pointing to. But before we get laughing at those church leaders from long ago, we can kind of see how easy it is for us to do the same thing. I mean, our number 1 priority is to give glory to God, but we can lose our focus too. For example, one of my favorite ways to worship and pray is taking a walk. Like in the woods or at the beach or in a neighborhood. For me, walking just quiets my busy brain and helps me remember what I'm thankful for. And I tend to see God at work in nature. And Getting outside brings me joy. Now, all of those things are good things, right? Yeah, you're nodding your head. How about we make a law that before we begin a Sunday gathering, in person or online, we start out with a 3-mile walk before we even enter the building or sit down to worship online. 3 miles. What do you think? Well, no, that actually doesn't even sound good to me either, and I love walking. You see, rules like walking 3 miles to prepare for worship actually focuses on the act or the behavior, like walking, and not focusing on Jesus, who gave himself for us on the cross. And that's the kind of rule that Paul was kind of warning us about. Paul was saying that we don't grow as Christians by keeping to certain laws and rules. We grow in our faith when we hold fast to Christ. Okay, friends, here's your challenge this week. I want you to wear a fake mustache. Yeah, make somebody laugh. We can take God seriously, but we don't need to take ourselves too seriously. But wait, if you're watching from Alabama, just wait till after service to do that. All right, friends, your second challenge this week. As you are spreading joy and laughter this week, keep God as your daily focus. Thank him for the gift of laughter, the gift of his Son, and the gift of everlasting life. All right, see you guys soon.